Welcome to the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. We are the cousins. I am KO 2 syllables.
DJ Talk.
Shawnee Red.
We got to get into it, guys. The Kevin Hart Oscar situation. Did you read it? Did you see it? Oh my God. I think this guy been going on. He been doing PR on the Oscars. He's helping the Oscars. Matter of fact, he's helping people want to know who's going to actually be there. You know, he making me nervous because I was like, man, at first I thought he was going to try to make it. He was going to try to figure it out. He went on Ellen. That was a big PR moment for him. Ellen stood beside him, and then she became a part of the mess. I don't think she expected that. She just knew her position was secured. She just knew that her supporters would still be there. They was like, Ellen, you better back out of this. This ain't about you.
Right. With that voice, though.
Yeah, with that voice. That was, you know, Richard. So it was quite interesting to me. That happened because usually when people go on certain platforms, a lot, especially during the heat of something, is a PR moment for them to try to figure out, okay, how can I divert some of this negative energy to some positive? I might not get everybody, but I might get somebody to kind of get into this with me and understand that I did apologize. I apologized on multiple occasions, and I feel like my apology was sincere. And, you know, I don't know who these people are. They're trying to tear me down. Oh, I listened to it. He was real good. It was dramatic. I said, Kevin Hart got some drama in him. You know, I'm used to him being very
he
comedy.
Bring that to his acting.
He's got some drama into him because he said, these people are trying to tear me down, you know, ensure that the people that work for me don't work. They're trying to end me. It was so... You know, I thought I was at a play for a moment. I was like, oh, he not Denzel yet. He's more like Samuel L. Jackson. But it was a good moment, I think, for him, for people to go, okay. And then when he said, Ellen, I will think about that, you know. But I think it takes more time to prepare for the Oscars. I had all these things I wanted to do. But one of the things the question that came to mind, you know, as I was paying attention to the Kevin Hart situation was, when do we forgive? When do we actually forgive? When do we take the moment to just allow people to be forgiven for something they did, whether in the past, whether in the present, or even in the future? When do we forgive? DJ Talks.
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing that we have to understand is that forgiveness only requires one person, right? Forgiveness is something, it's an exercise you do within your own self. You have to make the decision whether or not you're going to allow sort of the pain of that interaction with someone else, the bodies of other individuals you've engaged with, to be toxic on you. Someone told me that unforgiveness is like drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die. So I think it's once we make the decision to forgive, I think it's sort of the transition into something else, right? But forgiveness is an individual exercise. So you make the decision today to forgive. Doesn't mean you forget, right? But it means that you've determined that you're not going to allow the pain of the past, that hurt that you're carrying around with you, to prevent you from being the person that you want to be. So forgiveness is something you do immediately. So in my opinion, forgiveness starts when you make the decision to make it happen.
Shawnee Red.
Now, of course, this is the thing for me. When we talk about the forgiveness piece, I don't even think it's a matter of forgiveness. I think it's a matter of people having the ability to hold something over someone else. I think it's people giving themselves an express power because now I can do this and I can do that because you have done this. If it was 6 years ago, 7 years ago, if it was 6 minutes ago, it's this power that we give ourselves, especially people who feel as though they have something to accomplish or something based on other people. When he said people want to bring him down, I absolutely believe that.
Right.
I absolutely believe that there are people that will sit in their homes. I've seen it on Twitter, sit behind their keyboards, and they'll do these things to people, not taking into account that it could be you.
Right.
There's absolutely no consideration. Now, he said something 6, 7 years ago. I see people that have said something and they've brought it up at the peak of someone's career. Right. Now, help me understand the point of that. So I understand forgiveness, but I don't know if it's a matter of forgiveness. If it's a matter of society, what we have managed to do when it comes to this particular age. I think we have taken it to a whole nother level. It's not, and that's why I said it's not about forgiveness. We've taken this to a point where this power that we have given ourselves to hold something over someone else and give this accountability that we don't have for ourselves.
Right.
We've given people this idea that when you're on a platform, you're a celebrity, you owe this and you owe that, when they owe you absolutely nothing but to do what it is that they designed to do. They are actors. Let them act. They are not raising your children. They are not the role models. They are not the ones who's supposed to come in and save the day. They're not the ones who's supposed to go and make sure Flint has clean water. They're not supposed to be the ones to go and make sure Trump doesn't build his wall. That's not their responsibility. If they're an actor, let them act. If you want to go see the movie, pay the money and go see it. You've given yourself this express power that really takes me to a place where I'm unforgiving. I don't want to forgive you because of your offense. So I'm offended that you offended at Kevin Hart. That's where I am.
Just be careful about drinking the poison yourself then and expecting someone else to die.
Well, please don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, another disclaimer. Enjoy your spirits, but ensure that forgiveness is present when you have a situation where you're dealing with something with somebody. And I think it's important that, we as people do forgive. I think it's important that we as a community do forgive. I think that, as DJ Talk says, that's the point of being able to step forward. That's the point of, putting yourself in a situation where you can move forward, in your life and the community can move forward. But we can't do that if we continue to bond our community, bond our people, bond each other, bond ourselves to things that have happened 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 minutes ago, 10 days ago, 10 years, well, maybe 10 minutes ago, but 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I see so many people that are still stuck in the quicksand on this. Do y'all remember that movie Blazing Saddle?
No,
you don't? Okay. So this movie called Blazing Saddle came out. Yes, it was.
Remember.
No, it wasn't Dean
That
Wilder.
was Gene Wilder, the guy with the wild blonde hair, Willy Wonka guy.
Oh, it was Gene.
Oh,
okay. So in the movie Blazing Saddle, there's a part where
I'm too young for that.
where this guy is starting to sink down in the quicksand, right? And it looks funny, right? And it seems funny, but I think about that every time I think about, man, I got to forgive this situation because I see myself, sinking into a quicksand and I'm stuck. And it's like an embattlement that you deal with a lot of the times, in your dreams and your thoughts, it's a consistent, bondage that you find yourself, that you can find yourself in.
Absolutely.
And, and I think that it's important, and it does start with you. But as Shawnee Red said, you cannot allow these haters, as Ellen said, you can't allow these haters, to bring you down. You have too much talent. And as we talked about, off air before, you have too much value to allow forgiveness not to take place.
Right.
It is a key to everything else that you do. What do you think about that, Shawnee Red?
In this day and age, to a lot of people, unforgiveness is power.
Right.
Because if I can still hold you to that, then that means that I have power and control over you. And that's what people use it for. It's more about the individual person than it is about him. Now, Ellen she represents a lot of things. She puts herself out there for people. She put out her sexuality. She put out her relationships, just who she is. She put herself out there, put herself on the line, really, when it came to this Kevin Hart situation, because she wants to show compassion. She's a compassionate person.
Right,
and it reflected, his comments were about someone in the community that she represents, but she's trying to bridge it and show that forgiveness is absolute and it's necessary, but it's not about forgiveness. And that's the thing. It's like, when do we forgive? When it's really about forgiveness? Because it's really not. This is about power. This is about people sitting at home having the power to dictate who makes it and who doesn't, or this implied, who makes it or who doesn't. And to keep it all the way 100, I think the Oscars needed all the publicity they can get.
Hello. I think they have lost a few ratings. I watch about 5 seconds, and when I see Denzel falling asleep, I turn it off. We got to speak on the truth. It's a long event for no reason, and it's just Hollywood giving Hollywood. A whole lot of trophies and gifts. It's Hollywood giving Hollywood a whole lot of trophies and a whole lot of praise
For doing their jobs.
for doing the job that they've been paid $20 million to do. Just give me the check, and I think that's as much praise as you need to give me. And I don't have to show up at the awards show just so I can receive a trophy to say that the check was validated. That's probably the reason why Will Smith hasn't been given an Oscar. But we're going to move forward, from that, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to move into part B of this conversation.